Hello everyone, it's Lindsay, and today we're doing a wrap up of the devotional kit from ByTheWell4God. This is waiting in day 2. I have mentioned in a few videos recently that I have been traveling and gone and doing stuff and taking time off during June and July. So I haven't been doing a whole lot of process videos, but I did want to hop on and just share with you what I've been working on behind the scenes. So let's dive in. Now, the devotional kits from ByTheWell4God have 14 days in them. So there are tons and tons of entries that you can do. I've only done, let's see, 5 or so. I do go ahead and read all the way through the devotional, take notes, study the scriptures, all that goodness. But I don't journal every single page. You definitely can if you've got the time. So just to kind of give you an idea of how I work through those, I will have the unboxing link down below if you want to see everything that comes in the kit, as well as the extra stamp sets and all that goodness. I'll also have the blog post link down below. You're going to want to check that out because I'm going to have still shots of each one of these pages with details about the products that I've used, links to the specific stamp sets and colors and all that goodness. So if you have questions about how a page was put together, check out that blog post and it will have the details over there for you guys. So let's dive right in. There is a process video for this first page here. This is for day 2 of the kit. And this is in Habakkuk. Most of the entries are in Habakkuk. That's kind of where we camped out for this devotional. And this is for chapter 1, verses like 2 through 3. Again, I will link the process video down below so you can see how I did this. It was one of those ones where there was some mistakes made along the way and how I corrected it and some different things like that. I talked about using the stamp set with foiling versus embossing powders and what happened. I'm going to play some more with that Ranger embossing powder. Let me grab it really quick. It's this one here. So it's a sticky embossing powder, and I have really had some issues with this working for me. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I have been watching some videos this summer about this, and I'm going to play with it some more, and I may do a specific Tip Tuesday all about this, because the more I've watched, the more I've learned, and I think that I may be able to use it a little bit better now. So when watching that video, just keep that in mind. I will be coming back and kind of exploring foiling in more detail. But so we're talking about waiting in day 2, and what that references to is that day in between the time of Christ's crucifixion and resurrection. So that day in between where, you know, the disciples have been told that he's gonna come back, he's gonna raise again, he's gonna defeat death, but they're kind of in that unsure, that uneasiness of day 2 where, you know, they have faith, they believe it's gonna happen, but they haven't seen it yet. And so that's kind of the theme for the devotional content this month. So for those of you that had questions about that title and what we're talking about, it was a really, really good study. If you have not grabbed it already, you definitely should, because it was a good one. So here, I think I just used some Neocolor 2 crayons in the background, did some stamping and embossing. Like I said, check out that process video and you can see how this page came together in its entirety. This page here is also for waiting in day 2, but this is a few days down the road, so we're gonna skip this one for now. We're gonna go over here to where I journaled for day 4. Okay, and that's one here. So this is for day 4, and this is in Isaiah chapter 45, verse 9. And this day we're talking about, like, what is the heart behind your questions. So it's okay to ask God questions and to pray, you know, questions to God, but what is your heart? Are you being, you know, hypocritical? Are you questioning his faithfulness, or are you just genuinely asking questions? And so we kind of talk about that in day 4. So what I did here was I took several of the stamp sets. I think it's the one that comes with the kit, and then there's some add-on stamp sets as well. And I went ahead and just embossed on some white cardstock using the Ranger Platinum embossing powder. I love that because it's kind of in between a silver and a gold. And I wanted to use lots of metallic accents with the kit this month. So I went ahead and just stamped a bunch of those succulents on some cardstock, painted them in using the watercolors that come in the kit itself. Went ahead and just roughly cut out a heart shape, so those succulents are kind of on the edge of the heart there. Now I did go ahead and dust on some weathered wood distress oxide ink using a makeup brush. This is something that I do quite a bit with distress oxides. It makes it so they blend really, really smoothly, and you have a little bit more control because you can either have a light application of ink or you can build it up to more intensity rather than using the sponge daubers that you can get. I do like those when I'm working on different cardstocks and things like that, different card projects. Working in my Bible, I like to use the makeup brush. So I went ahead and just dusted some of that weathered wood Distress Oxide ink. And then I used another one of the stamp sets from ByTheWell4God. And it had all these fun little like sketchy marks, and so I used some Versamagic inks to stamp those out. Used some alpha stickers from ByTheWell4God. This one for the word heart is actually from Felicity Jane. Again, everything will be linked over in the blog post for you guys. Use the washi tape that's in the kit, and then also some washi from my stash, and then just one of the bow clips, and called it good. So it doesn't have to be super elaborate. It can be really simple. You know, since this piece here took quite a bit of time, I didn't really work too much on the background. I just focused on this big heart element here. All right, next up is going to be for day 7. So I do jump forward quite a bit here. Okay, for day 7, we're talking about hope and having our hope in Christ during that time of waiting. And in the devotional for this day, it does talk about sometimes, you know, we may be waiting for something, whether it be a pregnancy or a job or a clear cancer diagnosis or something like that. And sometimes it doesn't come. Sometimes it doesn't come, and we don't ever get to see the answer to that. But we do have hope that when Christ returns, all of those answers will come and that things will be restored. And so that's kind of what we have to hold on to. So I appreciate that ByTheWell4God does address that it's not this prosperity gospel type teaching. It's not that if you pray enough or work enough or study enough that you're always going to get answers to your questions. Sometimes you don't get those answers. And so that's kind of what we address in day 7, and day 8 kind of touches on that as well. So we're looking at 1 Peter chapter 1 verse 3. And what I did here was really pretty simple. I just, again, used some Distress Oxide inks. I had a lot of fun playing with those this month. They're just really easy. The colors are really vibrant, and they were right here on my desk. I didn't have a lot of time, so I just want to grab what's near me. So I have been looking up some blends from Kristina Warner. She's a card maker. I'll link her down below. On her Instagram, she offers up some different Distress Oxide ink blend combinations. And so this one here is Wilted Violet, Picked Raspberry, and Spun Sugar. Again, using a couple of those makeup brushes, I just blended those 3 inks into the corner of the page here. Add a little bit of water to add some texture. Use some washi tape to give myself kind of a table effect. And then these were the die cut pieces that came as your add-on goodie when you order from ByTheWell4God. So these weren't a part of the kit itself. It was a little add-on goodie. But if you ordered from her during that month, you should have gotten these die cuts here. And just, I like to cut off some of the white border, and that way I can squeeze more on here. Just adhere those to the page, and then I used a mixture of the alphas from the kit, the alpha add-on, and then I used the lowercase typewriter alpha stamp. I'll link it down below, and just kind of mix those together, did some journaling, and called it good. It doesn't have to be super complicated. For up here, what I did, now I don't usually use the tip-ins, the little 2-inch tip-ins or bookmarks. Because I work in the Illustrating Bible, those don't really work well in this large Bible. You can use them. I just don't have a tendency to use them. So what I did was, one of them had this kind of floral succulent print at the bottom. So I actually cut a tab out of that. So I will be doing that in the future. I'll be using those to cut out tabs and shapes and different things like that. And then just used a bow clip from the kit. I will show you the back side here. So this is an unprepped page. I am, again, working in the Illustrating Bible, so the pages are a little bit thicker, but you can see, even with that Distress Oxide ink, I blended it pretty heavily and did add water. I didn't have any bleed through, really. So only some of the colors tend to bleed more than others, some of the darker browns, some of the yellows, but some of these other colors seem to do just fine, as long as you only use a little bit of moisture with them. So there is a look at day 7. Next up is going to be day 10, back here. Okay, so this one here is for day 10. We're back in Habakkuk. This is chapter 2 of Habakkuk. And this is just using one of the printables from ByTheWell4God. So you may not have realized that they do offer coordinating printables that you can purchase from the shop that go along with their kits each month. I always forget to use them because I get mine a few days after I get my kit. And I just I always forget to use them, but I did want to make a point to print them out and use it and show you. And I love how this page came together, and it really was not that complicated. So this typewriter piece here was in the printables. I went ahead and just printed it out on some clear sticker paper, which is nice because it just blends right into the page. And I kind of toyed and was hesitant because when you use clear sticker paper, of course you can see anything that's behind it. So I didn't want to add, a lot of paint or things like that because it will change the colors of your sticker. So I went ahead and stuck it down, and then what I did down here was I actually just took like a scrap piece of paper and covered up portion of the page here. So I just had a piece of scrap paper, and then using a makeup brush I blended on some Distress Oxide ink. I started with pumice stone, and then I went in with a little bit of brushed corduroy, and then I went in with a just regular fluffy paintbrush and picked up a little bit of a darker brown, like ground espresso, and then just came in here and added some shadow detail, added some detail to the tabletop. And the nice thing about the sticker paper is it kind of resists that Distress Oxide ink a little bit, so I can just kind of wipe off any ink that got on top of the sticker. Now it did discolor it just a little bit, but with something like this that's already dark, it isn't super noticeable. But if I was doing that up here where the lighter color is, you probably would see some of this color affect this, but with this particular sticker it worked out just fine. And so I was able just to go in and just add little details, and it kind of gives it this wood effect, and it was just using Distress Oxide inks dry blended on there. And then I took a Project Life card, cut it down, ran it through my typewriter, and typed out just some notes as we were looking at day 10 here. And then this was using a new product to me. It is Punch by We Are Memory Keepers. I'll link it down below. I've been on the hunt for it for many, many months. Most of you knew that I was hunting for it, and one of you found it for me and sent it to me. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And it punches out these letters. So I punched them out, backed the paper with some darker paper, used some alpha stickers, and called a good little splash of watercolor. Now when I am adding splashes of watercolor and I've used clear sticker paper, I make sure to cover the clear sticker paper. Because I'm printing with a inkjet printer, anything that's wet that gets on here will remove the pigment from the sticker paper. So just keep that in mind if you're going to do anything wet on the page. You want to do it before you put your sticker down, or make sure that you cover your sticker. That way you don't ruin the print on that sticker. But really this is just a few elements, and it really comes together and brings the whole page together. And then I just created a tab out of the same paper that I backed this with, did some white heat embossing with one of the stamps from ByTheWell4God, and called it good. It does not have to be super, super complicated. Okay, and then last but not least is going to be another entry in Habakkuk. This is for chapter 3. We're looking at Habakkuk's prayer. And one of the things that I love about ByTheWell4God is they do a lot of word definition, word study. They translate things from, the original language, and they kind of go back into those words and have you study those. And so this is one of those words, I'm not even going to pronounce it because it's going to be wrong, but we talk about that and how there isn't an actual to English perfect translation, but they really kind of go into depth about what this word means. And so I wanted to make sure that I got that written down in the margin of my Bible. And that's kind of the nice thing about working in an illustrating Bible that has those bigger margins, is you've got tons of room to do your artwork, but then you can also come in and add definitions, sometimes I'll just word for word copy things that stand out to me from the devotional content into the Bible. So it's right here. When I come back to this page, I can see exactly what it was that I was, looking at or studying in that devotional content. So again, this is just from one of the printables. It was actually on the same page as this one. So one of the printables was this image, and then this image here that I printed on clear sticker paper. So I just stuck that down. And then this here is actually a tag from Felicity Jane, and I made a little cut in it. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that. So it looks like it's actually hanging on the same loop that this is hanging on. Used some alpha stickers from ByTheWell4God, had some leather trim in my stash, so I made a little bow. And then these are just some of the clear stickers that come in the devotional kit itself. Stuck those down just to kind of fill in some areas, took some notes, and called it good. A page like this can be done in 15 minutes. So if you're wanting to spend a lot more time in the word study and the scripture study and that kind of thing, with printables and clear stickers, you can put together a page super, super quick. And then this was just the back side of the tab that I had on this side, and I just added a clear sticker, cut around the tab so it actually looks like that was part of the tab. And then this waiting in day 2 is actually from the top I don't have it right here, but the top of the clear stickers has this, and I just cut it out and added it so I would know what devotional this entry was from. So there's a look at the 5 entries that I did. Of course, you could do more. I'm sure there's tons of information in those devotionals. I do take lots of notes and highlighting and things like that in the devotional booklet itself. But there's a look at the pages that I was able to get done this month. Again, check out the blog post. I'll have still photos with all of the links for the products that I used. If you have any questions or comments, be sure to leave those down below. I will have an unboxing of the new kit very soon as I get it. However, just so you know, they are having the pre-sale for Adorned. Adorned is going to be the next devotional kit. So that pre-sale is happening this week. I'll have that link down below so you can get in on that, and then we can jump into a new devotional. So give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to my channel if you're not already subscribed. And until next time, thank you so much. Bye-bye.